Welcome back to Algebra with Whirl. Today we're going to be looking at slope-intercept form, and this is what it looks like. Y equals mx plus b. This is before we put any of our values in here. So y and x you may be used to. The m is going to represent our slope, and our b is going to represent our y-intercept. Okay, so our m is our slope, and our b is going to be our y-intercept. Okay, so for example, if we had an equation, if we had y equals 12x minus 18, and I said, what's the slope? Well, the slope is the coefficient of x, or whatever is multiplying by x. And so right here, our slope, or our m, would be 12. And if I said, well, what's your y-intercept? Well, that's our plus b at the end. And so right here, our b value. Now here it says plus b, but here it says minus 18. And so our b value would be a negative 18, because technically this is adding negative 18 at the back. Okay? It really is that easy, guys. All you gotta do is understand this formula up here, y equals mx plus b. Know that m is slope and b is y-intercept. Now, what if it gives us a graph? Okay, what if it gives us a graph and it wants us to write the equation? Right, it wants us to write the equation of this graph in slope-intercept form. Okay, so we want to end up looking like this, except we're going to end up plugging in our number for the slope and plugging in our number for the y-intercept. So first, how do we find slope from a graph? Well, we can do rise over run, or if we already have two coordinates, we can use the slope formula. Okay, where m equals y minus y, or y2 minus y1, over x minus x, or x2 minus x1. So let's go ahead and plug this in. Okay, so my y values, I'm going to go with negative 3 for my first one, which means the negative 6 would be my second one. And for my x values, since I did negative 3 first, I need the x value that goes with it, which is the 0. And then my other x value down there is a negative 5. And then I solve this. So negative 3 minus a negative 6 would give me a positive 3. And then 0 minus a negative 5 would give me a positive 5. So my slope for this graph is positive 3/5, or positive 3 over 5. So now I got to know, what is my y-intercept? What is my b value? Okay, well, whenever I look, it already gave it to us, because whenever x equals 0, that's going to be our y-intercept point. So our y-intercept here is negative 3. Okay, our y-intercept here is going to be negative 3. So now when I write this equation, we put y equals, and then what was our m? What was our slope? 3/5. So I have 3 over 5 in the place of m, multiplying times x. X isn't on the bottom, it's not on the top, it's off to the side. And then our b value. Here it was negative 3, so you could put plus and then negative 3 if you wanted to. But we're going to simplify that, and we're going to put just minus 3 at the back. Okay, so minus 3 for our y-intercept. And there it is. There's our equation representing this graph right here. Okay, let's try one more. So if we're given y equals negative 6x plus 4, this is already in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. What is the slope? Well, slope is multiplying times x. So right there, our m, or our slope, is negative 6. What's our y-intercept? Well, here we go. Here's our b value. So our y-intercept is positive 4. What's the x-intercept? Okay, now, we were saying a second ago that our y-intercept is when x equals 0. So when y equals 0, what does x equal? Well, let's try it. So we plug in 0 for y, because when y equals 0, that's going to find our x-intercept. And then I write in the rest. And now we do a multi-step equation to solve for our x value. So I'm going to subtract the 4 on both sides, which will give me negative 4 equals negative 6x. And the last step we need to do to isolate x by itself is divide both sides by a negative 6. And we end up with negative 4 over negative 6, which becomes 4 over 6, positive, and then that reduces to 2 over 3. So x equals 2 over 3, for the x-intercept. And so our x-intercept would be the coordinate 2/3, 0. And if we wanted the y-intercept as a coordinate, it would be 0, 4. All right, I hope this helped you guys understand slope-intercept form. If you have any questions, just let me know.